Thank you for tuning in with Luminary Leaders Live. My name is Shelly Harrison, and I'm your host here on Luminary Leaders Live. And I have another guest today, and I'm so excited because we actually represent the guest that we have today. And I just want to give him a shout out because we were supposed to have him on a couple of weeks ago, but we had some technical issues, but here we are today. So I just want to give another shout out to our sponsor for the show, which is Endeavor Mortgage, and Dan Leonard, who is the vice president with Endeavor Mortgage, and they're located in Seal Beach. So thanks again to Endeavor Mortgage. And without further ado, Ryan, I would love to introduce you. You're a retired lieutenant colonel with the United States Marine Corps, and also with Entray as the vice president, and you do so many things with the company. And I'd love to have you just kind of share a little bit about yourself and tell us what you really enjoy most about your role at Entray.
Sure. Well, first off, thank you very much for having me here today. What I do with Entray, I'm the vice president at Entray, and I oversee all our delivery. And what our delivery is, we are a consulting firm for the life sciences industries. We offer project management support, process improvement. It's management consulting. So it's not the SMEs, but it's the good leadership to projects and activities. I love what I do because it carries over a lot from what I did in the Marine Corps. The second half of my career, I did a lot of strategic planning and then managing military operations for pretty large military units, 2,500 person unit. And I carried that right over into biotech and started doing project management, and now oversee all delivery. What I love about it is partnering with clients who are having challenges or having whatever the business challenge or problem is, and helping them. The part I love is helping them understand truly what the problem is, and then simplifying the whole problem so that we can actually do the things we need to do and achieve the results that they're looking for. So that's what I love.
Yeah, and I really love that you took your expertise and everything that you did in the military and really were able to take it with the role that you have at Entray. And on top of that, you do speak, and you are a keynote speaker, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. What I would really love to know, Ryan, you've been doing this work now for many years, and do you have an example of maybe a company or a person that you worked with that you can kind of share without, you don't have to share who it is but just share, maybe where they started and when they were done, what was extraordinary about what the outcome was?
I like to think I have a couple of them. Some ones that were really, really rewarding. We went in with one client. She brought us in for a short project that was about 3 months. And what she really wanted to do is she wanted to organize her portfolio. She ran the project management organization for her entire life, for her entire biotech company, and at this one site. But it was a large site, and they just had kind of projects all over the place, no rhyme or reason for how they were prioritized and things like that. So she brought us in to help kind of organize and structure it, and we went through that whole defined portion at first, understanding what their site strategies were, what their strategic objectives were, and getting all the procedures aligned so that as they're approving projects, it's all in accordance with achieving their strategic goals and objectives. And we simplified their processes, we simplified their tools that they're using, and we really enhanced their leadership decision-making capability, which was the true benefit. And it turned into, we still actually, after 5 years, are still working with that client on numerous other things because of the level of delivery and the impact that made on that site and their ability to make good well-informed decisions that impacted the whole organization. So.
Yeah, and you know, with the work that you do, really it impacts the bottom line, you know, where it's going to help the company to, you know, continue to grow and probably, you know, just further impact their, whether they have a team or they're, you know, just a few people within their organization. Wouldn't you say that that has a, you know, a direct impact on the bottom line?
I think I should say I know it. We talk to them, and we've done joint webinars with them where they do it as a client, we do it as the team that helped them, and we talk about the benefits they receive. But the unquestionably the benefits that for profits, obviously, it really helped the bottom line significantly. It cut down on costs.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah.
And that was an amazing impact. The other thing I know, the senior leader at the whole site, what he was most happy about was there was two things. One is that all the projects they were working on, they could trace exactly how those were contributing to their strategic goals and objectives. So that was a huge win for him. The second thing was that at any given time, and I used to have his quote, but he said, before we did this project, I only knew what projects, the only projects I knew about were the projects that were having problems. And he said, after we implemented this portfolio, this methodology, he goes, I knew every project that was going on, and I knew exactly how they worked together, and I knew it constantly. So it was, I know it made a tremendous impact on that site. And that's why we're still with them today. They bring us in for anything. And sorry, I'll add one more thing. The PMO, which is the group that runs all the project management and the portfolios and everything, they were only a 3-person team. And they were just putting out fires on a daily basis. And when we partnered up with them, we were able to really prioritize their activities, help them understand what the highest priority ones were and how to deal with the lower priority ones, and train people outside their organization to do things so that they weren't required to do them all. So it really impacted the effectiveness and efficiency of their project management team as well.
Oh, yeah. And I think it gives them more, you know, where they're probably going to feel better coming to work because they know now that they have a process, they have systems in place, and, you know, they're more, I guess they're more enthusiastic to go to work. I would imagine, you know, because now because of they're seeing the improvement that it's making.
It sure seems that way. The appearance and all indications and what they would communicate to us is that they were very happy. They liked coming to work. They felt like they were not just coming into work and just doing whatever they could to keep their head above water. They were actually being proactive. They felt like the teams now that they were supporting were actually happy with what they were providing. So, we do believe it increased morale quite a bit across the organization. So.
Absolutely. And when you first start working with a company, what are those first maybe 2 or 3 steps that a company or individuals could expect in the very beginning working with you?
So this is actually a common theme for my speaking engagements. When I speak to solving complex business problems, it all comes down. The first step comes down to one thing, and that's simplifying complexity. And there's several different approaches to it. There's a specific approach for simplifying complexity for existing business operations. There's another one for simplifying complexity associated with projects and programs, and another one for just dealing with risks that come up or opportunities that come up. They're all different approaches, same principles, just different methods to get there. But that's the first thing we do. We get in, we start really understanding what the problem is, what the boundaries are, what the parameters are that bound this problem, what you can do, what you can't do, what is a very clearly defined success criteria. And when you get all that and you spend the time to do that, a lot of times the problem or the solution starts presenting itself. And that's the benefit we see, is that normally when they see this, they see, oh, Lord, this is a challenging and complex situation. As we go through that define and simplifying process, they start to realize it's not nearly as challenging as they thought.
Yeah. And like you said, going in and showing them, you know, to simplify the problem or whatever that issue is, to come to a solution. And I think a lot of people, and being a CEO of my own company, I mean, I know that I can get deep into, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I do have two business executives that I work with, and, they help to keep me grounded. But without them, I think I would stay stuck, without guidance.
Yeah, we all do it. I think it's very natural that you see a problem, and first off, you just want to jump to solutions. That's the first thing that we just wanted. That's human nature. We want to jump to solutions. The second thing is we see the problem and we don't really understand what bounds it and then what the priorities are. A lot of times when you talk through these things, you start realizing that, well, I thought I had to do this, but that's really not important. That doesn't matter. So let me get rid of that one. I thought I had to do this. That doesn't matter. And then you start to hone in and you realize that really the only thing that matters is this 1, 2, or 3 things. And it's invigorating when you get to that point.
Oh, absolutely it is. And it's an eye opener. And in the same token, you feel this sense of relief, knowing that's whatever that problem there's a solution. Yeah.
It's achievable.
It's achievable. That's right. And as far as you are a speaker, so you do a lot of speaking, and you were just in Salt Lake last week. And before we get into that, we want to give a shout out to Heather Hansen O'Neill. She had you on her show, on her podcast show, and it just launched today. So that's something that we're excited that you're able to be, there with Heather. She has a great show. So shout out to Heather. And kind of going back with you, Ryan, in terms of Salt Lake City last week, tell us what that was all about and your role in, being a part of it.
So it was a pretty large conference, but it's all about how different software systems can support the life sciences industry, such biotech, pharmaceutical, and med devices. And I went there again. Seems like the theme on most of my certain portion of my presentations or my discussions is all about simplifying complexity. And this was specifically associated with simplifying complexity in existing business operations. Because so many times in this industry, organizations feel like we got to get a system in to automate this process. And they just bring the system in, and it can be nothing wrong with the system, but it's a horrible process of getting it in, getting it used, and getting success out of it. So when we talk about that, of focusing on the process first is, what is the process you're trying to automate? Let's make sure that process is effective. Let's make sure we do a good change management initiative to assure adoption across the organization. And only when you have all those things going do you actually start bringing the system in to actually automate what you were doing. And so that's why we went there. It was very, very well received, and it is something we will do on an annual basis, because that's a lot of what our business is.
Yeah, no, and I think that the work that you personally do, I've just seen you in action, and I want to applaud you, because I know that this is something that you're very passionate about, and helping businesses. And there are a lot of people out there that, especially again, the small business, larger businesses, and the very large businesses, where they sometimes don't see the problems present in their organization. And having someone like you come in to kind of forensically take a look and really do a deep dive of what those problems are is, people don't realize that that's out there and available, with companies like Entree, where you work.
So thank you. Yeah. We offer it. I love it. It's fun. So I really enjoy getting involved with different companies on that.
Yeah. And what do you think is next for you, Ryan?
So I plan on being with Entree and leading Entree through hopefully a good growth period, where we are really trying to demonstrate how we can positively impact companies. So I love doing that. I am continuing to kind of try and speak on my whole philosophy of the simplifying complexity. Another area I love to speak on, and I am trying to expand my opportunities here, is really around leadership. A lot of leadership experience leading teams in the Marine Corps, leading teams deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. And I love the leadership principles that were taught to me from the leaders that I truly admired in my career. And I tried to emulate what they taught and what they exemplified. And leadership that's the other element I feel when I think of what I've truly contributed to Enter-A. It's that defining problems, simplifying complexity, and leadership to any organization, military, civilian, it doesn't matter. It's tremendous.
Yeah. And, when you think of groups that you can speak in front of, I mean, really, it's where's your sweet spot? Where do you think those, events, conferences that are out there that are a good fit for your topics?
So it's a great question. So I think I think the audience is very broad. I mean, it can span any industry. Because the topics are not technically focused or technical focused. And that's where I say I don't fit in. And I have looked in some of these opportunities where they're calling for speakers and they are asking for very technically, or people who are very technical in certain areas. So I feel like regardless of the industry, I could speak to groups on that. Again, I do love the simplifying complexity on any business problems, regardless of the industry. So I think I can cover that. And then also really speaking to leadership on teams or leading your teams, again, in any industry. It's the principles of leadership and how to get the most out of your team. And it's not even getting the most out of your team. It's making your teammate, your team members become the best person they can be, whether they are with you in the future or they're with someone else. And that's the way I've always looked at it. I just want them to be better people and more enthusiastic, contributing to society, regardless of who they're with at the time. So
yeah, well, and again, I want to thank you because you did serve in the U.S. Marine Corps, and we want to thank you for your service. We talked a little bit about your family, and we know that they're a contributing factor to to being a part of that with you, and in your military experience. So thank you. For your service. We salute you. And actually the Veterans Chamber, we're doing a very special program on November 11th. So we'll have to get you involved in that too, because it's a salute and it's on 11/11/11 or at 11, I think. Yeah. So it's at 11 on the 11th month of the year. So we'll get you on that.
Marine Corps birthday is the day before that. So November.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So we're almost coming to the end of our broadcast, Ryan. And I want to, just ask you, I'm curious, what kind of guidance would you want to give to most businesses that you feel really will help impact their operation with just this one thing that they could implement in their company?
I probably sound like a broken record, but it's simplification. And it is on a daily basis, we work here to simplify our processes. And we even go by a concept. There's actually a book out on it, but it's called The One Thing. What is the one thing?
Yes.
What is the one thing that makes you successful? So whether you're focused on your business or even your personal life, what is the one thing that truly matters to the well-being of your organization or your family? And I can give, for example, for us, we are a delivery service. We are project managers, all that. The one thing that matters to us is quality of delivery. All we care about is, have we met the client's needs and are they happy with what they got? And we constantly work towards that. And everything we do, when we talk about simplification, everything we do is to simplify it down to meeting that goal. And so that's what I would encourage people to do, is look at what you're doing, look at your operations, and how can you simplify them. Yeah.
And you're coming to us from the building, right?
Yes.
From Enter-A. Yes. And we see that light gleaming in. So that definitely has meaning with that light coming in. So you really light up when you work with your clients. And we want to thank you for being on the show today, Ryan. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for your service, in the military, for our country. And I'm glad that we finally were able to do this. And we want to make sure that people know that Ryan is available to speak at your event, all different types of events. It's a very broad, area where he can bring a wonderful topic to business owners and people that are running companies. So again, thank you, Ryan. And we want to thank our show sponsor, which is Endeavor Mortgage with Dan Leonard out in Seal Beach. So thank you again for your sponsorship. And to all of our subscribers and people that are out there, we're streaming on multiple platforms. But I hope you enjoyed the interview today with Brian Coughlin, and he is the vice president with Entree. And what city is Entree located in?
We are in Irvine, in California. So
very good. But you work globally, right? Or
yes, we work pretty much domestically, but we have supported some global projects, but we work anywhere in the United States. We're actually spread across the United States right now. So are happy to support anywhere.
Yeah. So there you go. And we'll make sure that the link for Entree is on the show notes so that people can go there to take a look and explore. And again, Ryan, thank you. We appreciate you being on the broadcast. And to our listeners and our followers, thank you so much for being here. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.